Okay. Welcome back, dear Toastmasters. The next segment we are going to have is the judges training. And to facilitate that, we have got another eminent, renowned Toastmaster, distinguished Toastmaster, Reena. So, Reena is a strategic HR consultant and process document specialist. She's a distinguished Toastmaster. She won the Best Division Director Award for the year 2017-2018, and currently she is holding the position of Assistant Chief Judge of District 120. Without any further delay, let me request distinguished Toastmaster Reena to take over and conduct the session for us. Over to you, distinguished Toastmaster Reena. And before we start, I would like to share a few tools with you, which we'll be using during this particular segment. I'll be sharing it in the chat box. You can download those files. I'll also alternatively share a link which you can use to download this in case if your chat box is not supporting the file download option. While Reena starts the session, I'll be sharing it through the chat box, which you can download. Thank you. Over to you, distinguished Toastmaster Reena.
Good morning, Toastmasters. Are you able to hear me?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
So I know it's been a very intense 2 sessions. It's been intense 2 sessions that we had with District CJ Rajiv Nambiar. Now he has done a lot of covering of major tasks in terms of contest management as well as the chief judge's role. Now, what we are going to specifically see in this session is going to be for the voting judges as well as the time-breaking judges. The judges who will have to understand what's the importance of their role in giving out quality contests. So that's what we are going to dwell today, and we'll also be having some very interesting segment towards the end of the session. So before I proceed with what's the agenda, you would have received 2 links, one for the humorous speech judges ballot. You'll have to download that as well as the evaluation judges ballot. Please download it. It must be available in your chat box. Just download it while I'm moving to my presentation. Today's agenda is going to be, we are going to see what's the purpose of a speech contest. We'll also be seeing what's our responsibility as judges. What is the difference between judging versus evaluating, which happens in our regular meetings? Then we also will be looking at what are the barriers to objectivity while judging. Then we'll also go through it. I may not dwell in deep about eligibility and code of ethics since distinguished Toastmaster Rajiv Nambiar has already dwelt on it, but the salient points I would be looking at. And then what we would majorly focus in this first 1 hour would be knowing your judging guide and ballot. So that's what is going to be the agenda for today's presentation. So with that note, let me go for the first. What are the purposes of a speech contest? Do we really have a purpose for a speech contest? Yes, Toastmaster International very clearly talks about 3 purposes of a speech contest. The number 1 being, when we become quite confident as public speakers, which we practice during our regular meetings. So we prepare speeches, we deliver speeches. At what level we feel, okay, what's the next? What's the next? So this is where bringing in the competitive speaking experience comes through this contest, where we will be able to contest against our peers, contest against the best of best in the clubs, area, division, district, and in the case of international speech contest, we move to the world championship level. So the first purpose is competitive speaking experience for our members. The next one being providing interesting educational program for members and public. We'll all have to remember while we speak about contest as a different entity, it is part of the educational program. We have been doing this prepared speeches, we have been delivering prepared speeches as part of our education program. So the contest is also an educational program which brings interesting or gives interesting programs both for the members as well as the public. So this is the second, so that it's open. The contest is open for the general public also to view. So that's the second purpose. And the third purpose provides the audience an opportunity to learn by observing the proficient speakers, the ones who have aced the contest. So watching them on stage gives us inspiration and gives us also a learning opportunity to become, or we observe and learn through those proficient speakers. When I joined Toastmasters in the beginning, they were, when I watched this contest, I was ebbed at some of the speakers, and I used to think, including DTM Rajiv Nambiar, I used to think, when would I be able to ever do that? And that also became an inspiration. And I think my example would also set the pace for you people that you can also contest. I contested for ISC for my maiden attempt, and I went to the division level. Same was with the evaluation contest. So my dear friends, take the opportunity. And this is what happens when you're audience and you're looking at those superstars performing there. They were not superstars overnight. So they have learned, they have observed, they have prepared, and they have put in effort. So that's the third one. As audience, we observe and learn from the proficient speaker. So those are the purposes of a speech contest. Now let's move on to, do we have a responsibility as judge? Yes, you have, or we all have responsibility as judge to ensure fairness and impartiality to contestants. We have an obligation to the contestants of that particular contest who entrusted with us with the responsibility. On that day we will be choosing the best of the speakers, so we will have to ensure fairness and impartiality to contestants. I may know the person, I may not know the person, I may like the person, I may not like the person. There should be no bias at all, no discrimination in terms of age, gender, nothing. On that day you will be objectively judging them. So please ensure fairness and impartiality to contestants, which is your primary responsibility. And second, Toastmasters International has a reputation in public speaking and excellence in giving prepared speeches or conducting our speech contest. So there is a reputation of Toastmasters International. If the judging is bad, that means we are going to demean this particular reputation. So we have, as judges, we have the responsibility towards Toastmasters International to uphold their reputation in public speaking also. So now we move in. Now let's see responsibility as judge towards the audience. My dear friends, have you ever got this experience that you were watching as audience, you were watching a contest, results were announced, and you suddenly felt, oh my God, I think this is not the best of results. I don't think that result is good. Someone else has been given the top position. So I would like to receive some kind of a response. Have you ever got this experience? Yes, someone can unmute and
Yeah, please feel free to share your thoughts, because
yeah, just
it's an
few seconds.
opportunity.
I'm going to
Yes.
So just
Dear
few seconds.
Toastmasters, feel free.
Have you ever got this experience that you went, you watched you were really happy with the contest, but when the results came, you were kind of, oh, I thought someone else is going to win.
Okay, Varada
Yeah.
K. Ananthan says yes at times that he
Yes, at
has
times.
experienced that. Through the chat box, he is communicating that.
Yes. So it is whose responsibility was that to have made the right decision, the correct decision. This is of course the judge's responsibility. And how do we ensure that we take the right decisions? It's being objective and following the judge's guide and the objectivity, and be objective about the judging. So we will be seeing in those aspects. So we may or may not encourage the audience to get back if they see they may not be motivated to uh, to participate in a contest later on. So it is very important that we'll have to make sure that a good speech contest is being organized and the results are also accurate, so that the audience tend to come back and they will also participate in the future contest. Next one, fulfill. We all have a commitment as Toastmasters towards self-improvement, which will now include, since you are trained to be judges, making the right decision is also a point or a commitment that you make to your own self-improvement. So this is next one. And my dear friends, though this is not written as a responsibility, but I feel this is the most important part. You will have to keep your role as confidential to the maximum extent possible. If someone asks, are you a judge? You obviously need not go ahead and say, we will have to keep as much as possible. It has to be confidential. There are only one group of people who will know who are all the judges at all times. That would be only the CJ and the ballot counters. So the tally counters are the only people who will know, and they all are committed not to disclose your identity as judge. So keep the role as confidential as possible, and please ensure you do not give a public criticism of the contest. You are not there to give your feedback about a contest. If the contest is done, close it. It's over. You have done your part. The results may not be according to what you have marked, or it may vary. It doesn't matter. But please refrain from giving public criticism of the contest. So it is a vital responsibility of the judge as mature individuals, as Toastmasters. When we take up the role of judges, let's not go in for public criticism of the contest in which we have been a judge. So now moving on to the next one. Reveal ranking only in accordance with official policies. The only place where you will reveal is the ballot, the official ballot, where you will be giving the ranking of the first, second, and the third contestants according to your ratings. Apart from this, you will never reveal this anywhere. So please make sure that we do not have this policy of confidentiality and revealing the ranking is in your hands. Kindly ensure you adhere to the values of Toastmasters. Now, what are the attributes of good judges? Now, let us see. Accurate. Accurate. How can we be accurate? So that is where the judge's ballot comes into play. The judge's guide is available where there is a point system. So you will have to rate every category, every judging item in the ballot individually for every contestant. So that's how there will be accuracy. You follow the ballot to the true spirit of it. So accuracy is one of the main or the primary attribute of a good judge. Moving in, fairness. The fairness aspect, there is the unbiased judge that has to come. On that day, whoever was the best speaker, the most deserving speaker, will be selected as the winner. Nothing interferes. Personal relationship, professional relationships, or any kind of bias should never enter when you are going in for the judging. So that's fairness, which is an attribute of a good judge. Trustworthiness is because the members, the contestants have interested trust that you will be choosing or selecting the best and the most deserving contestant on that day as the winner. So the trustworthiness of the contestants comes into play here. Knowledgeable. As judges, we are supposed to go through the rule book. That's our Bible, Quran, Veda, the holy book. We have to go through the current rule book every time you go in for judging. You would have read it 1,000 times, but when a contest is coming, just take up the rule book, go through it once again. So whatever has been covered in today's session, previous session, it is not the entire rule book that has been covered. So it is for us to read, go through it, and if at all you have any queries, you can always send queries or raise queries with our district CJ's team. We'll always be answering, or even Toastmasters International answers, like the query which was raised by DTM Rajiv Nambiar, the way they had answered, and we have so much clarity about the protest part of it. That's because he had gone through it word by word. So it is a responsibility, a good attribute of a good judge is to be knowledgeable about the rules. And so please go through the rule book every time before you go to any contest at any level. The next one, very, very important. We definitely have to be good listeners. If you have to be accurate, fair, we definitely have to listen intensely to every contestant, be it the first contestant, the last contestant, or any contestant in the middle. Right? If you are going to have 10 contestants, it is our responsibility to be alert and listen intensely, right from 1 to 10 contestants. So that's an important aspect which will help us to be accurate and fair. Now moving on to, what's the difference between judging versus evaluating? Someone can answer that question. Few seconds.
Feel free to share your responses on chat also if you want. If you cannot unmute, I'll share them with DTM Rina.
Is there really a difference between judging and evaluating? Evaluation happens.
In judging, we don't have to look for areas of improvement, or we just need to go by the ballot.
Okay, so we will be objective, and we is this Manju ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so whenever we speak, it will be great. Give your name, and then so that is DTM Manju.
Sure.
The answer she gave was we did not give a recommendation. Is it? What was the answer you gave, madam? You do not appraise, or you do not.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we don't need to look for areas of improvement, etc., but rather follow the ballot.
Okay,
Sections of the ballot.
Thank you. Fantastic. So now let us see.
There are a couple of other
Judging.
responses also.
Yes,
Evaluating
yes,
is one's opinion. Evaluation is giving feedback. These are a couple of responses that have come from Camellia Sengupta, Toastmaster Camellia Sengupta.
Okay, so
Toastmaster Vardhan.
evaluation
This is
about
giving feedback.
giving feedback.
Is one's opinion may be correct or not. Judging has to be done as per the set parameters, says Toastmaster Vardhan. And
Fantastic. Yeah. So thank you so much, Toastmaster Sai. All the answers are right. So now let us see what it is. For judging, as judges on that day, our primary responsibility is to select a winner. All right, to select a winner. And how do we select the winner? By taking the help of the judges' guide and the ballot. You take the help of the scoring system. You look at the various criteria. You score for every contestant, and then you total your points, and whoever gets the top point becomes the winner. So judging is all about selecting a winner, while evaluation, which is our lifeblood of Toastmasters, is appraisal plus advice. The objective of or the goal of evaluation in itself is to help the prepared speaker enhance or first know what went right, what has been the positives, what they have done extremely well, and what could be enhanced. So advice portion or the recommendation portion is the advice that we give to ensure that they take their speech to the next level. Now this is all about giving constructive feedback, speaking to the people. While in judging, we are not going to speak or we are not going to give them feedback about any of their to any of the contestants. So this is a primary difference between judging and evaluating, that we only select a winner. In the case of judging, we do not give them feedback, while in evaluation we give the constructive feedback in terms of we appraise the entire speech and then also recommend to them what could be enhanced. So that's the major difference. And judges' decisions are confidential, while an evaluator cannot say during our regular meeting, you know what, I've done the evaluation, but whatever I have done, those cannot, these are very confidential stuff. No, then you are disqualified as an evaluator. You are supposed to make notes, you are supposed to give feedback to the prepared speaker, to the member there. But here, judges' decisions are confidential. We ourselves cannot give out. Our role itself is a very confidential role. We are not supposed to go and tell that we are judges. So where are we going to appraise people about their speech? So this is very crucial, my dear friends. This is your responsibility to ensure you select the winner and you keep your role and the decisions confidential. Now moving to something very interesting. Over so many years, I'm sure this has evolved, and there are certain effects that happens to us which becomes hurdles to our objectivity. This may happen to us. This would have happened to us. So that's to many people. So that's where it has been now given names to. So what are all the things that will become hurdle to our objectivity? So the first thing, speaker position. We'll have to be aware of this. Probably when we are going through these object barriers, some point in time when you are judging, you may be able to recollect. The very idea of sharing this is you may be able to recollect that, oh my God, I am getting into this kind of a mode. Let me not get into it. It was referred. So let me refrain from this so that we give fair and accurate decisions. Speaker position. Normally, human tendency, if there is a list of things which is given or a list of items which are there, normally we recollect what is there in the last because we have short-term memory. So what we see in the end, we'll be able to recollect early. So is the first one. The first impression is the best impression. So in this case of a contest, say you have 7 or 8 contestants, contestant number 1 speech may be recollected very clearly because that was the first speech that you were marking in your ballot. So you tend to remember that, and maybe some kind of reference in your mind that may be going, but individually we shouldn't be referencing any contestant's speech. Still, so the first impression, so you watched the first speech, and second and third, fourth, fifth, sixth, 7th, 8th, because this is the last speech, so you recollect it. But is it fair? It is not fair. So how do we overcome this? Overcoming here, what we need to do is to intensely listen to every contestant. Be fair to them. Mark the ballot for every contestant. You give them the scoring for every contestant. So you be alert. That's the most important thing. So speaker position is one of the barriers, and how do we overcome it? By going through the rating system which is there and listening intensely to every speaker, be it 5th speaker, 10th speaker, or the first speaker. Let's move on to this one. This is very interesting. Champion for the underdog. Underdog people generally taken as people who will not win. Normally they don't win. So sometimes it happens that if we keep watching these people, it may happen. If this is happening, recollect my words, and you will have to be aware of this. We may feel, how many times is this person contesting and putting in so much efforts? Shall we do something here and give? Okay, let me give the third position to this person. Now you become the champion for the underdog. Now that is not our business. Our business is to look at the judge's guide, allocate the point for what is happening there. You are judging the contestant, every contestant. It doesn't have to do anything with the champions or anything with the underdogs. We need not we need not become the champion for the underdog. And how do you take care of that? Go with be accurate with the markings that you're giving with the help of the judge's guide and ballot. The next one, halo effect. Now, there are different categories for which we will be giving the rating. For example, somebody's humorous speech is hilarious. We love the way they brought in so much laughter. The structure of the speech was very good. The body language was excellent. However, there have been glaring mistakes in the language part of it, grammar or pronunciation. Now, in halo effect, what happens is, by God, this person has been so good in delivering the speech, in writing such a hilarious speech. It's okay to uh, give that similar kind of a rating for this person. My dear friends, these categories are exclusive. If the language is not fine, you will have to rate accordingly. You cannot give an average, you cannot give the similar kind of scoring just because in the first two categories they were good and the third category they were not good. Just rate it, be objective, just rate according to it, total it, and if the person has done extremely well, let us see. So we shouldn't get into the mode of these two areas are very good, so let me also give a good score for the third area. That's the halo effect. Now moving on to reverse halo effect. What is reverse halo effect? It is a reverse of the halo effect. It was the humorous speech was so humorous that we were waiting for the humor to come. Very seriously, there are times when you seriously watch humorous speech. Generally, as judges, we become very serious. So please relax. You enjoy. You have to enjoy that also. It's not a crime to enjoy a humorous speech, but you sit down there and you watch and you try a lot to even laugh, but the laughter doesn't come because it's not there. It's not there. So during this time, what happens is the content and the delivery was not great, but the person has taken extremely good or great efforts to have good language, and the pronunciation was also good. So the language portion was good. However, because he or she did not do well in the first two categories, obviously we have the effect of the reverse halo effect. Those two were not good, so let me also give a low score for language. Once again, my dear friends, that's not our business. Our business is to be fair and accurate. If something is right, you give them the right scoring. So that's the reverse halo effect, where the majority of the areas were not impressive, so I'm not going to give good scores for the areas that has been done well. So this is the fourth effect. Second time around, this is a very dangerous situation. We have a lot of contestants who year on year keep competing. That's how the world champion of public speaking also happens. They do not become world champion on the first go. If they have, then they must be extremely good. But it doesn't happen that way. Year on year, people keep competing. They go till division level, district level. So they keep competing till they get the topmost position. They win the district or the world championship. This is going to happen. At that point, we cannot look at it, oh, well, I have judged this person last year, or I judged this person in the club quarters. Now I'm judging the person, the division quarters, and it's the same speech. And I start comparing those two speeches. My dear friends, every contest is a new contest, new level. You have heard it, you forget it. When we talk about fairness, we speak about not even comparing one individual to another, one contestant to another in the same contest. So how can we go back and remember what happened previously? It could have been the same speech. So please do not get into it. This is the second time around effect. This will happen. This will happen. The club contest winner will go to the area, and if they win at the area level, they go to the division. So obviously, you will have a scenario where you are watching the same contestant, probably the same speech. So please do not have a second time around. It is a new speech, or it is a new day, and you are judging that person for that particular day. That's it. Period. So this is the second time around effect. Next one is not the norm. In some districts, they use the lectern. I believe they use the lectern while giving their speech. So what happens there is, if someone doesn't use the lectern, it is not the normal. Well, the rule book doesn't speak about any of this. The rule book does not speak about you'll have to be like this. You'll have to use the lectern. You shouldn't use the lectern. No. Rule book doesn't talk to it. So how do you avoid this situation is going through the rule book. Sometimes in one of the division conferences that I had attended a few years back, what happened was all the contestants, the ISC contestants were seated in the front row. The one contestant, all of them were perfectly dressed, the formals, the blazers and the women in sari or western formals, they were all seated there. But there was one particular contestant who was sitting in the front row, and his dress was so casual, rather I would name it very shabby. He was so shabbily dressed. We were all part of contest team. Some role we were playing, but then we all felt it. I was not a judge. Uh, we all suddenly felt, my goodness, God, this person is the way he is shabbily dressed. He is definitely not going to be given good scores. But my dear friends, what happened on that day when he came on stage and when he spoke, when he delivered his speech, that was the most appropriate attire. So please do not fall in the not the norm. If they are there is no taboo topics also. That's not given anywhere in the rule book. But if it is of not good taste, you may reduce somewhere. But then that completely depends on you. So there are no taboo topics. There is nothing normal. We all think that you should be perfectly dressed. If you're dressed, if you're dressed appropriately for that particular speech, that was the learning that I got on that day, that it is not the norm. The not the norm effect should not also affect you. It is a barrier to objectivity. Then, my dear friends, prejudices and personal preferences. Even though we all speak at the end of the day, on that day, how the contestant is going to be judged is completely in the hands. It's subjective. Though everything is objective, it's still subjective to that judgment of that particular person who is sitting on that day. If the person likes, it's going to, we cannot have control on the judgment of the individual. So how do we uh, ensure that we do not have a major effect is by the choice of a panel of judges, so that a single individual's thought process or the result, it does not affect the result. So it is a panel of judges. So that's how prejudices and personal preferences are being taken care of. So this is going to happen, will be there, but it is your responsibility to be fair and accurate, and to a large extent the guide. The judge's guide is going to help you be accurate and to be fair. So these are all the various barriers to objectives. Now coming to the contest rule book, be thorough. If you are a judge, if you are a contestant, if you are if you are in the contest management team, be thorough about the contest rule book. So as judges, mandatory, you have taken it up, and this is the latest. Aaron's picture would be there. This is the latest speech contest rule book, which is for July 1st to June 30, 2021. Know the rules, prevent misconception. Now, many times people do ask, ma'am, can an ISC speech be hilarious? There is no mention of it doesn't mean that people have to always cry in an ISC speech, or people should be made to cry. Yeah, people are supposed to be inside, but nobody has stated, or even in the rule book, it just speaks about there is the structure of it. What should be there in terms of the judging criteria is given, but it's never on the style of a speaker. So please understand, ISC speech could also be humorous. It could be humorous, but then at the end of the day, there are certain judging criteria which is there and go according to the ballot. So nobody speaks about the style in the case of our contest rule book. The style is yours. All right. So please, to prevent any misconception, go through the rule book. If it is not available, then do not go in for not the norm. The general misconceptions. We also used to have this scenario when the contest chair doesn't brief the contestant. So the chief judge comes and briefs. They'll be asked to brief. So it's very clear now. It has been very clearly indicated or communicated by DTM Rajiv Nambiar that the contest management team has certain roles. The chief judge has very clearly defined role. So all this is available in the rule book, and let us follow the rules. So now let's move to eligibility to be a judge. I'll not be dwelling too much on this. At a club level contest, be a paid member. You should be a paid member. At area, division or district contest, be a paid member for minimum of 6 months. In this, there is something important. In case you have got, say you have been a Toastmaster for 5-6 years or something like that, and then you took a break and then you come back. This actually had happened to DTM Rajiv Nambiar. He had shared with me this. So when there was a break that was taken and then the person returned, so there was a break. So he wrote back to Toastmasters International saying that I have been there for this long, and for some time I was not active, and then I have come back. They've called me as a judge. Is it okay for me to judge, or should I refrain from being, because continuous 6 months is not there. Then Toastmasters International had given the clarification that their overall experience in Toastmasters International, or being a member of Toastmasters, would allow him to be a if he is active now, then he can be a judge. So that's how this scenario is. So be a paid member for a minimum of 6 months time. Have completed minimum of 6 speech project in competent communication, or earned certificate of level 1 and level 2 of any path in pathways. So CC certification, at least you should have completed 6 speeches projects in your traditional mode, and in pathways one level 1 and 2. This is for area, division, district level. At club level, just being a paid member will do. And its advantage or the benefit of attending this program, you will get some preference because your name will be listed as trained judges. So that's all. Otherwise, being a paid member is good enough for club contest. And at area, division, district level, 6 months, minimum 6 months, and 66 levels 1 and 2 of any path in pathways. be physically present at the contest, in which you cannot have proxies here, so you will be there. So you will be attending the virtual or the online meetings. You will be seated there, you will be judging. Now there are restrictions. Let's see what are the restrictions very quickly. Beyond the club level, a member cannot judge a contest, be it you are a voting judge or a time-breaking judge. If you are a contestant, now let us take the scenario. My club contest is going to happen 2 weeks later. I've been called for judging now for some particular contest. I can go for judging in that particular contest. After that, I I compete and I get placed in the top 3, or I am in the top 2, and I move for the area contest. Once I am competing at the club level, and if I am placed between the club level and the area level, the next level, if I go and judge in another contest, then I will become ineligible to contest it further. So please make sure, if you are a contestant, if you are won at the club level, till you contest, you are free to, at the club level, you are free to judge. But beyond that, once you have contested, you cannot go in for judging. Please avoid judging, because you may meet the winner at a later stage. You might, if both of you win and come, then you might win. You might be facing the same competitor or the winner. So to avoid that, this is very important. Please do not judge beyond your club level if you are participating in the contest. You will become ineligible. No chief judge, voting judge, or tie-breaking judge must be a member of any club in which a contest. Your home club, you shouldn't be judging. If your home club member is part of a particular contest, you should not be judging. You should not be CJ, voting judge, or tie-breaking judge. So that you will obviously know if your home club member is going to be at the next level. So you will have to refrain. You will have to tell that, no, my club member is contesting, so I cannot be a judge. So this is the eligibility and code of conduct which you will be signing. So the eligibility speaks, whatever we have seen now is the same eligibility. If you see the 4th point there, judges for contests beyond the club level are not eligible to compete in the same contest type during the same contest cycle. All right. So whatever forms are being given and you are printing your name or signing it off, please make sure you are not just doing it for the sake of it. You are agreeing to the terms there. So if you get ineligible, that's because you have agreed and you have signed. So please go through every word of whatever you are signing. Code of ethics, it has got 5. It's the same. This is what you will sign and give. So code of ethics, it's about utmost objectivity. You will be fair, you will not be biased, there's no discrimination. It's the first point. And then time is never a point of concern for the judges. We are not supposed to time the contestant. We are not to be worried about the contestant's timing. So you will have to remember that time is not at all a constraint for you. You judge according to the criteria given in the judge's guide. Then next is confidentiality, that you are not going to reveal the scores. And the 4th point is you are not the member of the that's the home club member criteria, where you are not part of a club of a contestant. So this is you are not a member of the same club as any contestant. And then the 5th one is about the bias. I do not have any conflict of interest. When you cite this, it means even if you do not like we do not know who are all the contestants. This means in spirit we are agreeing that there will be no bias. You promise, you give the commitment that there is no bias. So you sign, and that's your printed, that's the certificate that you're giving, that you're eligible and you'll abide by all the rules of Toastmasters. Now, the very important part, The judging guide and ballot. If you take a look at this, I'm just giving a sample here of the evaluation contest. Now, what is the judging guide and what is the ballot? The judging guide is a top portion of it, where you will see the judging items. This is what is used. This is the guide used for you to rate every contestant. Okay, so that's the first part. And the second portion of it, the small portion of it, which is the judge's official ballot, is what you will be handing over. You will write, detach, and hand over to the tally counters, the ballot counters. So in this, it is very clever. This is the voting judges ballot. You will have to give the name of the contestants, first place, second place, and third place. So if there are three contestants, three or more contestants, you definitely have to write the first place, second place, and third place, and then you will have to sign and print your name. Most important is the sign. So in this case, if you are going to, in the online form, you may submit by typing your name there. Both these columns have to be filled. But if it is not signed, even if your name is not printed, but your signature column is blank, then your ballot will become void. It will not be used. Similarly, first, second, and third place has to be written there. If there is a tie between two people, you have to break the tie. You cannot send two people's name in the third place because I'm confused. Let the CJ do it, then it becomes void. Please do not waste all the efforts. You will have to be very clear about who is first, second, and third. You have to write that, and you will have to sign and also print your name. Without signature, it is not a valid ballot. So signature is compulsory, and placement of three people, very important. First, second, and third places have to be filled. Otherwise, it will become invalid. So now let's go. This is the zoomed version of it. So name of the contestants, first, second, third place. You will not be giving the top. The guide is for your reference. Those points will not be revealed anything. So all the judges have to discard it very carefully after the contest. It's the responsibility of the judges to discard the judges guide, which will be only with you. The judges official ballot, the placement, three placements should be there, signature of the judge, and the judge's name should be there. Now I'm just giving the tie-breaking judges ballot also. The only difference is they will have to place all the, if there are 10 contestants, they will have to give first to the 10th place. They'll have to sign, and they'll have to give their name, and the tie-breaking judge will only give the ballot to the CJ, because the tie-breaking judge will be known only to the chief judge. So that's the only difference, that they'll have to have the placement of all the contestants. Okay. Now let us move on to the most important aspect of knowing your judging guide and ballot. So today we are going to discuss on the humorous speech contest ballot and the evaluation contest, because this season is for humorous and evaluation contest. Now the judges guide. So judges guide is the first portion of it. This particular portion where you have the judging criteria, that's the topmost portion is the judges guide. In the judges guide, you will find points being there. You will find the points for excellent, very good, good, and fair. It's very clearly given there. You will use that as a ballpark for you to mark for every contestant. You will be writing the names of the contestants. There are space for 10 contestants, beyond which the semi-finals should be happening. So we have 10, we can go up to 10 contestants. So you will be marking according to the speaking order. You will be writing down the contestant's name, and then during speeches, after every speech, you will get 1 minute's time to make your mark your points for every candidate and total it and have it. All right. So now, so the judges guide is used to take notes. So you also take notes of what's happening in the speaker is talking. So you take notes. It's not that you will sit down and relax and you start giving points. It cannot happen that way. There are important points that you want to make notes, so you will be making note. You have to intensely listen. So that is how it's going to help that you take notes for every contestant, and important notes if you want to take. And then use suggested points. The suggested points are the scale that you have for excellent, very good, good and fair. So those are suggested points from 0 to 5. We will see that. We will see that in the next slide. So use the suggested points and use other point values. The meaning of this is excellent is the topmost score. So somebody has done extremely well on a particular aspect, you want to give them a 10 out on 10. But sometimes it may not be perfect. Then you go ahead and you have a range of scores there. So if it is 10, someone can be allocated 7 to 9. So it is up to you to give the other point values. Not every contestant will score the highest. So you have the other point values which you will have to be judging. Now it is up to you. You only have to sit down and think and rate them. Rate them according to how they have performed on that particular day. So you can take, you need to take notes based on the judge's guide, the criteria items which are there. Use the suggested points, which is nothing but excellent, very good, good and fair. And use the point values. Not everything is excellent. So you may have to take a rating which is appropriate for that particular speaker's speech. Now here is the humorous speech contest. If you take a look at the judging criteria, just give me a second. All right. So now let's move to the humorous. Now, if you take a look at the humorous speech contest judges guide, now this is only the guide portion which is visible to you. You will find not just the judging items, you will find 3 categories here, 3 judging categories here. Content has got 55 points. In humorous speech contest, content has got 55 points out of 100. Delivery has got 30 points and language has got 15 points. So that means, my dear friends, each of these categories are different and they are not subset of anything. You cannot have the halo or reverse halo effect at all. Each of these criteria have to be judged individually. One cannot have an impact on the other. If the content is good, very good. The content gets maximum score. If the delivery is not impressive, it is not. So be objective. So this is there are 3 important criteria here. The judging criteria based on content, delivery and language. So we'll go through each one of that. And if you now take a look, you will be able to see very clearly excellent are the topmost score, 15, 10, 15. But then not everyone is going to get that. So you will have to use the other point values here where you are going to talk about very good. It was very good. So I would like to give at a range of 12 to 14. I would like to give 14 or I'll like to give 12. So something like that. If it was kind of average, you may go in for giving 8 or 9 scoring. So this is completely up to you. Now let's move the judging category for humorous speech, content, delivery and language. This is the most important difference between any of the prepared speeches category, be it humorous or ISE. You will definitely find judging categories appearing there. Alright, judging categories will appear there, while table topics and evaluation doesn't have the judging criteria. They will directly have the judging items. Now let's go in a little elaborately so that you at the spirit of each of this point. Content is all about speech development, which has got 15 points. Inside content, the first criteria, judging criteria is speech development, which has got 15 out of 55 points. So it's all about organization of your speech, how was the transitions, and how were anecdotes and examples given in the story. So you get 15 in the speech, so you get 15 points for this. Second, speech effectiveness, achievement of a speech purpose. My dear friends, here there's only a general purpose here. Nobody speaks out or tells about a purpose statement exclusively or explicitly in this case of a humorous speech. In a regular meeting, you will find the evaluator reading out the speech purpose or objective, but here achievement of purpose is only general purpose, where the speaker might be trying to entertain, inform, persuade, or inspire. Now this is up to the judges to see in which category does it come. So is there a speech purpose? How was it received? Now how was it received? You are part of audience, so how have you received that message? So that is the speech effectiveness portion of it, which has got 10 points. Now coming to the speech value, it is all about the original thought, logical ideas and all that. See, nobody wants to come and listen to a story which is already doing its round in social media network. Who is interested? So that is where, if you see, most of the speeches will have some personal experience coming, because that is what is interesting for the audience to listen to something new rather than listening to it is okay to have some portion. So that is where the originality, plagiarism, and how much you can quote from outside sources are given. So it's really boring if you're going to just listen to something which you have read somewhere. So original thought and the original story and the logical ideas, how the ideas are flowing, is it giving value to the listener, to the audience? So as judges, you will have to also look at this portion, which has got 15 out of 55 points. The audience response, attentiveness, laughter, interest, reception. In this case, you will have to ask yourself as part of audience, that you are also part of audience, that individual judge who is sitting there is also part of audience, and you feel how was your responsiveness and how interesting was that particular speech for you. So there is a difference between this audience response and one coming in the delivery portion. But in this audience response, you will have to you will have to question yourself, was this something interesting, how did it evoke, because it's a humorous contest, so did it evoke that kind of laughter in you? So that's where you'll have to enjoy this while you're taking notes and all that. You also have to enjoy, because this response of audience, you are the one who is going to represent the entire audience here, because you are listening. You cannot assume, and in this situation of online contest, everybody's mobiles are everybody is on mute, so you may not even able to see it. So it is you as part of audience, you'll have to use this judging criteria. So please be fair and listen with a lot of interest and enjoy every speech. So this is the portion of the content, 55 portion. 55 weightage is given there. The next category is delivery, which has got 30 points. Now we talk about physical appearance of the person, body language, speaking area. Like the example that I gave, he was shabbily dressed, but that appearance was very appropriate for that particular speech. So please be unbiased and look at whether there is appropriate use of body language. Sometimes you will find people running in the name of body language. There may be no need at all. They'll be running from one corner to another, and too much of stage dramatics there. So many things will come there, but then if it is appropriate for that speech, score appropriately. The physical portion in delivery has got 10 points. The next one, voice modulation, the volume, the flexibility. Is it giving the right kind of emotions? The pitch variation, the vocal variety the person is able to bring through the speech. So voice has got 10 score out of deliveries 30 points. And the last one here in delivery is 10, which is completely talking about the person's personality. Was the person very enthusiastic? Was the person assured, direct? It will also show how much of preparedness is there, how much of practice this person has done to deliver the speech. It has not got anything to do with the body language or the voice, but it is the manner in which the person is delivering the speech. So it is about that person. Has the personality developed so well? And that development would happen because of the rehearsals and the efforts that they take to practice their speech. So this is about that person, the contestant's personality, whether the person was energetic, enthusiastic while delivering the speech. The speech may not have brought in laughter. This is not the criteria for that, but the person was enthusiastically giving, confidently giving the speech. So this is a different aspect. Now coming to the third category. Why are we talking about each of this category? Because they are independent of each other. Nothing. These are not subsets of each other. Content portion done, over. That doesn't impact the delivery portion. The delivery portion done, they both wouldn't impact the language portion. Language portion is appropriateness to speech purpose and audience, whether the language used in the words, language and the words used in this particular speech were appropriate, and the person had actually, the person is the master of his speech. So whether it was appropriate, sometimes people may use uh, the local language, regional language, but then we normally say if at all you are using your regional language, it's better for you to translate also, because you wouldn't know who is sitting in the audience and who is judging your speech. If they do not know, you may score less. So keep it as English, that's what I would say. So was it appropriate to the speech purpose and audience? And the next one, 5 points. I have seen this happening. People give 5 if every other criteria is good, though that their language would be pretty poor. Grammar, pronunciation, and word selection. If it is good, irrespective of what happened in the other criteria, if it is excellent, give excellent. If it is not, give them a fair rating. Please do not have the halo or reverse halo effect here. This is a point which is normally taken for granted. I just give this point. It is not so. This also is a very important criteria when that particular contestant moves to the next level. Is the person prepared himself well to be placed in the next level, because other contestants are going to have good quality speeches. So this is something very crucial. So when you are judging, please make sure you give the appropriate scoring. Now moving on to the evaluation contest guide, you will find there is no judging criteria here. There is straight away only 4 points there. Straight away only judging items are there. There is no content, delivery, language broken. This is one of the easiest ballots to be filled, but I wouldn't say it's easy to just mark. You will have to listen intensely to every evaluator. So the criteria here for judging: analytical quality, 40 weightage. This is we speak about effectiveness of the evaluation, clarity, logical comments, strengths. They speak the beginning, they speak about what is the strengths uh, of the speech, and then they talk about what could be improved. So all this should happen, all this will happen in 2 to 3 minutes. So they will be using the contestant, evaluation contestant should analyze the speech. Then we move on to recommendation, which has got 30 points. Recommendation should be practical, helpful, positive, and it should leave the speaker to improve in the next person. They should take the point and they should have used it to enhance the speech. So analytical 40 points, recommendation is 30. Technique, this will be throughout the speech that they'll be using. It could be your the sandwich technique or the CRC, comment, recommend, comment technique that they use. So this is throughout the speech, the contestant will be using this. How they have to be sensitive to the feeling. They cannot rip the contestant. Nobody stops, but if you have ripped it, you leave the person demotivated. So this will have lower scoring. So you'll have to see how positive and how sensitive was the feedback given by the evaluator. So it should be inspiring and encouraging for the speaker to come back for the future speeches. A very important point, summation. The evaluation contestant should summarize the speech. The evaluation contestant should summarize their speech. It could be they may use acronyms, they may use just 2 lines to summarize, but if they have summarized, then they get the score. This is a major deciding factor when it comes to the evaluation contest. They would have done everything right, but time constraint, they would have forgotten about summation. So you will be scoring accordingly. So summation is something very, very crucial. You will have to listen intensely whether the conclusion they're summarizing. They'll generally say overall or to summarize, something like that. They'll summarize. Whoever summarizes very well may get a better score in the 15 points. If somebody misses it, you will have to judge accordingly. All right, so these are all the 4 criteria for evaluation contest. Conclusion should briefly summarize the evaluator's comment and suggestion and be positive and encouraging. So that's about the summation. These are all the additional resources which are available, the FAQs and also the speech contest tutorials which are available. You can always go through it. Now, it's time for us to have some practice to perfect it. So let's practice to perfect. Are we all ready? So you may be wondering, what am I going to do? We are going to have a mock contest. So in this contest for humorous, so we'll begin with the humorous speech contest. So for the humorous speech contest, we are going to have 5 to 7 minutes time. I request all of you to take your ballot which you have downloaded, your guide, humorous speech guide and ballot, please take that and keep it. We are going to have one contestant here. So you will get a practice of how do you score in a humorous speech contest. So please take the humorous speech ballot. Let me stop sharing. Okay, are we all ready? So Toastmaster Sai Sridhar is once again giving the link if you have not downloaded already. Okay. So please download the humorous speech ballot as well as the evaluation ballot. It will also be there. Now what we are going to do is to have one humorous speech coming up. So I want all of you to mute because this is going to be conducted just like the our contest. Okay, so I'll be the contest master. So it's going to be 5 to 7 minutes speech, a humorous speech, which will be delivered by a contestant. So kindly mute and start making your notes because take that criteria, keep your judge's guide in front of you and you could start using it. So we are going ahead. So Mahesh, we will be going ahead. Once I announce a name, you'll have to time. So the contestant, the name of the contestant number 1, Anirudh Madhavan. ANIRUDH, Anirudh, MADHAVAN, Madhavan. Toastmaster Anirudh Madhavan. So let's begin the humorous speech contest. Contestant number 1, Toastmaster Anirudh Madhavan. My meaningful purpose. My meaningful purpose, Toastmaster Anirudh Madhavan.
Indian parents are good at only one thing. They produce engineering students. Engineering students are good at only one thing. They plan trips to Goa. And Goa is famous for only one thing. Contest master, Toastmasters, and yes, I'm sure most of you in this room would have at some point in your life, even if you've never actually been to Goa, thought in your mind at least of going to Goa and made a trip in your mind. But you see, I am very smart and different from all of you. I don't even think in my mind about planning a trip to Goa. You know why that is? That's because conversations between me and my dad are color coordinated. When I say to him, Appa, I want to go out somewhere alone, his face changes slightly. It starts to blush a little. Then when I say, Appa, I'm going out with a bunch of friends for a purpose, that changes pink and it starts darkening. And then when I finally say, Appa, I'm going for a purpose which is not entirely meaningful and not related to my education, his face changes to one crimson red. In fact, my dad is so color coordinated that he's better than the timer at a Toastmasters meeting who waves his signaling card at the 5th, 6th, and the 7th minute. But you see, my life had a different set of plans for me. In the summer of 2018, I got an opportunity to go to Goa for a 1-month internship related to engineering at an industrial estate. So I go to him and I pitch this idea. Appa, can I go alone someplace? Goa, just for a month. It will be the trip of a lifetime. Hey, are you a fool, darling? You're not even trustworthy enough to go to the local supermarket and get the vegetables which we ask you to get. Goa and all 1 month alone, how can I trust you? This is really foolish. Like, don't you have sense? You should think logically and get back to me with whatever plans you have. Appa, I'll have a friend, Pa. Like, I'll not be alone. We can keep each other company. Friend, what do you mean now? I don't trust any of those friends of yours. I know you'll all go there and it will be nothing meaningful. The purpose will be awful. You guys will get up to nothing productive. Appa, see, Pa, that's the thing. I've got a chance to go for 1 month and it's at an engineering internship. I'll finally find my inner engineer that was always inside me. I'll be able to make you proud. Why don't you give me the chance just for this? You do have a point, no? Like Goa, industrial estate and all. What did you say? A friend is coming. Like you can be study buddy, no? Like you can help each other, you can learn together, all of that. Okay, like, let's go ahead, book your flight ticket. That day taught me an important lesson. When an Indian parent is faced with any circumstances, no matter how grave or trivial they may be, on one side and the opposing choice is making their son an engineer, they will always pick the engineering side and choose to convert them into a better engineer. Don't worry about that. So at the tarmac, as we're waiting to board the flight, my dad says to me, son, this is going to be a very important month of your life. It's a month where you're going to fulfill your meaningful purpose. But me and my friend had other meaningful purposes in mind. We were going to go out to learn 2 things that had proved far tougher to us than any engineering course. Learning how to party and soak up the good life. And so as my dad said, you're going to fulfill your meaningful purpose. Me and my friend looked at each other and we knew, Macha, this is the month we are going to fulfill our meaningful purpose also. And we landed in Goa. But a few weeks into the trip, we were fed up and sick. We were fed up and sick of sitting and staring at each other all day long. We had expected that all our troubles in Goa would be lady troubles because of all the partying that we were doing. Instead of lady troubles, we only had laundry problems. We had expected that there would be a huge list of vessels. There would be a huge list of parties to go and attend every single day. There was no party. There was only a stack of bathrooms to sit and wash every single day at night alone, the 2 of us. And then we decided, one fine day, enough is enough. We've come to Goa for a meaningful purpose. If you want to fulfill a meaningful purpose, you have to go out there and make it happen. And so one day we decided we're going to bunk office and go travel somewhere. People may not tell you this about Goa, friends, but take it from me. People will say the most important thing you should take with you when you go to Goa is a sunglass or a beach loafer. I'm giving you friendly advice. The only thing that matters is the raincoat. Do you know why the raincoat is important? See, because I am from Chennai, rain itself in the first place is like the 8th wonder of the world to me. But on top of this, like the rain in Goa is not normal rain that falls straight. It comes at an angle. So which means the rain is not hitting your body, it's going straight into your eyes. And it can really hurt if you're not careful. But me and my friend never cared about all that. How can the rain god spoil the plans of 2 people who come to fulfill a meaningful purpose? I mean, that cannot happen at all, no. And as luck would have it, as we were returning from that place, a small drizzle began. It changed into a huge storm. And me and my friend were numb, shivering, and soaked to the bone. We were driving for 1.5 hours on a national highway with no visibility ahead of us, and we had no clue where we were going. Yeah, at that point, my mind voice starts thinking something. In movies, if you have ever seen the rain, you know that they bring out the rain only in one setting. The hero and the heroine have gone through all of their difficulties. The movie is about to end. It's time for them to embrace under, the droplets, and then the guy puts his coat over her head. All of that romantic stuff. See, the setting was right. I was in the right place, Goa. I was a man on a meaningful purpose. I was there. And after all this, I still couldn't find a heroine. I was stuck with this idiot who had been there with me for the last 3 weeks. And at this point, I was feeling so hopeless and I was so tired. And I was wondering if my meaningful purpose would ever be fulfilled. At that point, my friend interrupts me. Macha, I'm so proud. I've got to tell you something really nice, like I'm so proud of myself. I faced up to something today and done it. I said, Macha, I'm like so sad. Like we came to Goa. 3 weeks in Goa. Can you comprehend that? Like we were in this place for 3 weeks and we couldn't fulfill a meaningful purpose. Can anyone fail worse than this? And then he says, hey, forget all the meaningful purpose, da. Don't worry. What I'm so proud about is I never told you, Anirudh. Like ever since childhood, I've been suffering from night blindness, da. So for the last 1.5 hours, I've been driving on this national highway and we've not managed to hit anybody yet. We're still going safely. This means we are surely destined to fulfill our meaningful purpose because our luck is so good. And at that point, I start freaking out. I say, stop the vehicle, stop the vehicle. You can't do this anymore. We're not willing to risk everything. This is too foolish. This meaningful purpose cannot go beyond this. And at that point, I realized I had come to Goa and failed. My meaningful purpose hadn't become a reality. But life is always about positivity and going strong. My internship was in Goa. My full-time job offer is going to be in Thailand, where I'll finally realize my meaningful purpose. What about you, Contest Master?
Timer, please indicate 1 minute. This time 1 minute silence is being given for the judges to mark their ballots. I request all the people in the audience to mark the ballot. Timer, please indicate end of 1 minute.
Sure, Reena ma'am, it's yellow for you. 1 hour 50 minutes completed for you.
Okay.
Yeah, 1 minute completed, ma'am. Reena ma'am, 1 minute completed.
Mahesh, 1 minute is up?
Yes, ma'am, completed.
Okay, thank you. Okay, my dear friends, how was the contest? So what we are going to do now is, we are going to have a discussion for the next 5 or 6 minutes. We are going to have a discussion. While you had a first-hand experience on the humorous speech contest, what you have done now is to score. Using the judge's guide, you have scored for the speech of Anirudh. All right. In the meanwhile, what would be happening next? In the next 5 to 6 minutes, we'll be having a discussion where you can ask me questions and we can clarify on this particular judge's ballot, we are also going to have an evaluation contest for you now. All right, so the humorous speech contest is over. Anirudh has been the test speaker for the humorous contest. We have got two contestants who have been listening to his speech, and they have been now moved out to the breakout room where they will be making their notes for evaluation contest, just like the normal evaluation contest. They are now gone to the evaluation or the breakout room, so they are sitting there. So now we can feel free and start having our discussions. So what are all your experiences? We can. Thank you, Sai. Lloyd confirmed to me also. So anyone can start asking your queries if you have any queries.
Yeah, I have noted on a couple which came in the chat box. DTM
Yeah,
Leela, can I quickly share that with you?
Yeah,
Okay.
please.
Yeah, I'm reading them. The first one was from Toastmaster Gokul Narayanan of Walkie Talkie Naganallur. In online contest scenario, are there best practices for the confidentiality of the judges?
In it's I believe it is much more easier because you are sitting in your house and nobody is asking you whether you are a judge. All I could say is probably instead of we'll have to make sure while giving our names, just give your names and not say I'm a judge. That's the
Okay.
only thing, and it is much more easier while you're sitting. You don't have anybody peering at you. Nobody is sitting and watching your scores, and most of the times you are on mute.
Yeah, or incognito mode kind.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, the next one is from Tamilarasi of VTC. Please tell about champion for underdog. I think she want you to clarify that.
All right. Tamil question is about the barriers to objectivity. There was a point called champions for underdogs. What happens is time and again we will find a particular contestant competing very hard, and normally there will be some superstar or some powerful speaker who will be winning. So we go in as judges and keep repeatedly seeing the efforts that the person is putting in, and suddenly that feel good, that angel in you comes up and says, how much will this person keep trying? Shall I just give some opportunity? I'll give this person, make the person probably number 3, though I may not be deserving. So then you become the champion for that underdog. The underdog is that contestant who normally is not seen as someone who is going to win. But when I say that champion for underdog, the underdog at some point in time may become the champion. So
Yeah.
be unbiased. But in this case, champion of underdog is that judge who champions to become a very kind human being, that angel, and may give good scores for that underdog and push the person to the next level. Believe me, the person, if he is not deserving, will not actually do well in the next level.
Okay. Is there time for one more question?
Yeah, please,
DTM
please.
Leela?
We do
So,
have time.
yeah, Anand Narayanan, Toastmaster Anand Narayanan of Emphasis Toastmasters Club asks, in case voice and video of the speaker don't sync up, and we suspect somebody else is delivering the speech by proxy in an online contest, is there any rule guiding this situation?
The disqualification would only happen because of ineligibility, originality, and timing. And timing is not our business as judges. So
I
to
am
so
reminded.
we will have to give the benefit of doubt that there is no proxy.
I am reminded of that old movie where the hero used to give lip movement and somebody sings from this side. Looks like he's
Padosan, I get it. But then
okay.
we will have to, at some point in time, we'll have to trust. We'll go with the trust that the Toastmasters adhere by the values of Toastmasters International.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, are there any other questions, dear Toastmasters? If I had missed out on the chat box, you can feel free to ask me.
You can, if anyone wants
Yeah.
to discuss on the ballot also. Now you marked. I
Yeah,
hope that all of you have used the ballot and you are marking, because that is the practice that we are trying to get here.
Yes, absolutely.
So if you have queries on any of the aspect there, we can go ahead. rest assured, the evaluation contestants are inside. And they are being taken. There is a sergeant at arms as a coordinator sitting there and monitoring them. Are there
How do
any
we,
other
Akanksha from Trino VIT asks, how do we judge audience response in an online contest?
That is the aspect that I spoke about. You will have to now double up to be the full audience. You are also, being a judge, you are part of the audience. Did it bring in that kind of interest? What was the response? And in this scenario, unfortunately, because we are not going to, we are not having an in-person meeting or a conference which is going to happen at this point in time, we will have to double up here to see how you as audience, what was your response uh, while listening to this particular speech. So that criteria which comes under the content portion of it, the audience response, it is the response, you become that audience. So you will be the you will represent the entire audience here. So that is where you will have to intensely listen, you have to enjoy, you will have to be with the contestant for that particular point. That's how we'll have to practically see, because everybody's uh, video would be on, but everybody will be on mute.
So
We will have to practically, we will have to double up to be the entire audience.
and any points about the ballot, as DTM Reena mentioned, do you have any observations or any thoughts on the
You found
ballot
something
usage?
difficult to judge or something like that? If you have, we can always discuss. Otherwise, probably we'll have another 1 or 2 minutes before we start the evaluation contest.
There's another question which has come up. I'd request you to again address it. The doubt is, the question is from Manikavelan Ramesh from Chennai Kilpak Toastmasters Club. Since we need to rename ourselves like the role plus name in a contest, so should we mention ourselves as judge or stay with the same name is what...
You'll definitely not mention yourself as judge. You'll definitely
the
not.
confidentiality thing.
Yeah,
Yes.
confidentiality stuff. We will come up with something. Probably you'll have only your name, but when we are saying this before the entire audience, we have the contestants also here, so they will start watching who are all. By the way, what do you think the contestants are going to do? Even if they come to know about you, you are supposed to be confidential. There are scenarios when people have come, when I have gone to some club, they came and told, Reena, I know who you are. You are supposed to be hidden, but I'll not ask you what role you're playing today. Some obvious things were happening. So luckily for you, that those will not happen here. Happen here because you are in your place. So that is there. So how do we identify ourselves? Definitely not as judges. So we will see how to manage that. But your name can be displayed.
So DTM Reena, there's another question which is coming up. You already addressed about the bias, how we may get influenced, but the question here is from Pranesh from Catminers Toastmasters Club. How do you resist the urge to be influenced by a previous speaker's speech while scoring a current contestant? Looks like he's asking about some specific ways to manage the bias.
See, all I could do is, obviously it will be, the scores are going to be there. If you're going to take a hard copy, then you will fold it. What we normally do is you will have the ballot. The first contestant's name is written the rightmost. The tenth column will be for contestant number 1. So what happens is you rate and then you fold the paper. You fold the ballot and you will keep doing it. So you'll keep closing it. But in the online, I'm not sure how you're going to fold it. So it's obvious. If it is there, it is there. It's a number which is like that. That's completed in 1 minute silence. You have completed that ballot. You forget. You just watch this particular person who is going to be there, and then score for it. The urge will be there. That's where the prejudices and the personal barrier,
Right.
personal preference barrier comes. But it is up to us. And this entire program that we are having now is for you to understand that we are supposed to not have any bias. So if you have completed that, be blind to it. Like colorblind types, or the night blindness types, you close your eyes towards that particular contestant, finish it, and go. There may be only one place, rare, that you may have a tie. When you total completely, you may have a tie between two contestants. That is where your judgment will come in terms of who was better. But you will have to break the tie. You cannot have a tiebreaker judge for your judging. So hope I have answered.
Right. Thank you so much, DTM Reena.
Reena ma'am, it's 2 minutes to read, ma'am.
2 minutes.
2 minutes to read.
Sai, is the
What he's saying is, he says there are 2 more minutes for the red.
So 1 hour 30 minutes. That's okay. We're covering a lot of questions, answers here.
Okay.
So do we, Sai ji, do we have the first contestant out? Then we'll move to the evaluation contest. That's a very special mention that I'd like to do here. Since you have watched Anirudh's speech as a humorous speech, though you had made your own notes and all that, this is the same kind of effort that has to go in for an evaluation contest also. When a test speaker is speaking, as judges, you also make notes. If you are listening intensely, that is where it helps for you to analyze if the evaluators are doing a good job. So it doesn't mean if it's an evaluation contest, the test speaker is speaking only to the contestants and not you. So please make sure you listen very intensely to the test speaker also, so that you will be able to have accurate ratings for the evaluation contestants who are coming. So in this scenario, I made you listen intensely to the humorous speech. Then I declared that it is also the test speech for the evaluation contest.
So I have asked DTM.
All right.
I have asked DTM Lloyd to send the first evaluator.
Yes.
Yeah.
DTM Lloyd.
Yes,
Yeah,
I
thank you.
requested Arun, just give a few minutes, few seconds.
Okay. Now let me do the briefing so all of you can mute. Now we are going to have the evaluation contest. We have 2 contestants. You can take your evaluation contest ballot, judges ballot and guide. Please mark the names of the contestants. Contestant number 1 is Arun Kumar. ARUN Arun, KUMAR. Contestant number 1 is Arun Kumar. Contestant number 2 is Renuka Bharat. RENUKA. Renuka. BHARATH. Bharat. Contestant number 2, Renuka Bharat. Timer, the timing will be 1 to 2 minutes. Green at 1. It's not 1 to 2 minutes, that's table topics. Evaluation, it is 2 to the, I saw the scare of the speakers. 2 to 3 minutes. 2 minutes green, 2 minutes 30 seconds, it is amber, and 3 minutes you will have red. So let's begin the evaluation contest. Contestant number 1, Toastmaster Arun Kumar. Toastmaster Arun Kumar.
One thing good about Indian parents is they make good engineers. One thing good about being an engineering student is at least you can use that for your humorous speeches. I should say today the speaker Anirudh was handsome because they say the speaker who is humorous is always handsome. Good evening, dear Toastmasters, and a special good evening to my target speaker. It was a great attempt of humorous speech and I really enjoyed that, and I have plenty of positives that I found during the speech. The opening was awesome. He was captivated. He captured the audience attention as soon as he delivered his introduction, which was about engineering. So engineer, you find every engineer at every street. So basically he took up a topic which is more relevant to every audience present in the room. So kudos to you, target speaker. And the title itself, the meaningful purpose, was used multiple times during the course of the speech, which was again showed that the speaker had that meaningful purpose that was designed throughout a speech, and kudos to you again for that. And with respect to the techniques that you have used for this humorous speech, I should say there are different techniques in humorous speech. You started with a self-depreciating humor where your father compared you are not even good enough to buy something in the grocery store. How are you going to go with a go to a place where you don't know anything? So that was great. And you also used a technique called compare and contrast, when you compared the timer cards with respect to the different color coordinates that your father was showing, crimson red to the red that the timer showed. Again, there the contrast technique was able to kindle the joke and kindle the smile in the audience. That was great. And also I liked the exaggeration technique as well that you exhibited. That was fantastic. Again, I really enjoyed you used exaggeration. Exaggeration is one of the biggest or the most important tool that one should have whenever they are using a personal story. So these are the positives that I found in your speech. But there are certain things that I want to say could have improved your speech to another level. One important thing was you had a perfect structure of the speech. You were really relevant with whatever title you took and then the speeches. But if you had paused before giving the punch, you had the timing issue. If you had just rectified that, I think your speech would have got much more laughter to the audience. So that's the one recommendation that I have. Apart from that, the conclusion, you said you wanted to go to Thailand for your job. So you could have given that Thailand explanation a little bit better, saying that I know there is sandwich technique in Toastmasters. I haven't had some sandwich technique in Thailand. I would want to see the purpose, or there's something like that which could bring in much more humorous thing as well. So to conclude, I say it was great opening. You had a meaningful title as well. You had a great techniques that humor demands. But if you could just work on the passes before the punch, and if you had concluded with the humor itself, I think your speech would have gone into next level. Congratulations, Anirudh. Thank you.
Let's give 1 minute silence for the judges to mark their ballots. Timer, please indicate end of 1 minute. Thank you.
Shall I start now?
Wait, Renuka.
Okay.
Ma'am, 1 minute elapsed.
Thank you. Contestant number 2, Toastmaster Renuka Bharat. Toastmaster Renuka Bharat.
The meaningful purpose. First and foremost, I would like to thank Toastmaster Anirudh for giving such a wonderful humorous speech. You have given a perfect structure for your speech. Your content, your body of your content, everything was so perfect. You had emphasized your body language, your vocal was so clear. Your voice modulation, wherever you want to increase your speed, you have increased. Wherever you want to decrease it, you have decreased it. And overall, you have incorporated the your ideas, thought process, everything in a well mannered. A small recommendation I could suggest you, since you have spoke about your traveling experience, you have shared your traveling experience, you could have used any props like a wallet. It would have been more dramatic, and it would have been eye-catchy also for the audience as well as for me. And the structure, the way you narrated, it was like a thrilling story. So how you would have found your meaningful purpose, how you could have searched for it, and you have very well narrated the story. The storyline was apt, it was so very well narrated. And to summarize this, I could say that it is a well structured, well framed content and body. And the another recommendation I could say is the conclusion. You could have tied up, you could have stitched your conclusion with your introduction also. When you told about engineering graduates for your internship program, finding the meaningful purpose, everything you could have tied with your introduction also. How you spoke to your father, what all the experience you faced, everything like in a concise manner, you could have concluded it. And overall, it was a very good humorous speech. You have indulged your humorous sense in that. You made everyone so excited, and I was interesting to hear more from you in your future speech also. And to again, for a last conclusion, I can say that you can use props for this, like traveling experience. So it could have been an eye-catchy show for everyone. Over to the. Thank you.
Let's now give 2 minutes silence for the judges to mark their ballot and also complete the ballot. Timer, please indicate the end of 2 minutes. You are supposed to write the first and second. Your winner, the first place and second place, you will have to write after marking the ballot.
Reena ma'am, 2 minutes have elapsed.
Thank you. Friends, now you have got a hands-on experience of how do you score or rate your humorous speech contestant, and through the evaluation contest we have seen that you have 2 contestants, and how do you mark their ballot and also write down who is the winner and the runner, or the first place and second place winners. Now we will very quickly have a Zoom poll here. Because you have to only choose who is the winner here. We are only 2 people, so you just choose who is the winner according to your ballot for evaluation contest. Can we have this?
Yes, Reena ma'am, we launched the poll.
Okay, so you can please vote. While we are doing that, can we quickly have questions for the evaluation contest? Now we had a detailed talk over the discussion over the humorous speech contest. On evaluation, do you have any queries, my dear friends?
How do you ensure in online version of evaluation contest, how do you ensure that the evaluation contestants are not cheating? How do you
DTM
take
Manju Manohar.
Yeah, I'm DT.
Okay.
I'm Manju. Yeah.
All right. So DTM Manju Manohar wants to know how do we ensure that they are not cheating. See what has happened here in this scenario. We have Zoom license, so we have the breakout room happening here. So the breakout room, we have one coordinator. We have. I would like to thank Toastmaster Kavya, who has been the coordinator, who did the job of the sergeant at arms, who was monitoring both the contestants. So their videos were on. They had 2 sheets of paper which was given to them. So they wrote and they were asked at the end of 5 minutes, they were asked to close the notes and they had to sit and watch Kavya, and they had good sightseeing, the 3 of them among themselves. So 5 minutes went and after that they were waiting. So someone from here, from the TLA team went and escorted the first contestant outside while Kavya was there with Renuka. It's similar to what we do in a regular evaluation contest. You will have 2 or 3 sergeant at arms, one in the main room, one who will go escort, and the other one who will be inside the room, waiting room. So here we use the breakout room. So the video will be on. The video will be on. And they are supposed to be sitting in front of the video. And they have been informed not to use any gadgets.
Yeah. Will their hands be visible throughout? If their hands are not visible at any point of time, should we disqualify them? For example,
we cannot disqualify anyone on these grounds.
No, in the sense, if below the
judges
table,
anyways did not know. By the
not judges, I mean even the SAA can alert the CJ, no, that this person used a gadget under the table.
The SAA is supposed to alert the contestant, not the CJ. CJ is sitting in the main room. Now the SAA has all the power. What do you do in this scenario in a regular room in person? What would you do if they are discussing? You will just kindly make sure you don't talk to each other, don't disturb. So this is done by the sergeant at arms there. So the coordinator has to say. The coordinator can stop and then tell them, please do not refer.
Okay. My question is, what if they have a hidden mobile device under the table or something like that? So that's why I was asking the question, should the hands be visible always to the SAA?
I go with the values. Anyways, so we can take whatever precaution we need to. So if I so you can't ask them to prepare their notes standing up at all, right?
No, but
so
the hand.
If at all I want to cheat, if at all I want to cheat, I can always have my device in my lap, on my lap. So how would the sergeant at arms do anything about it? So we will have to go with the trust. We will instruct very clearly that this is not supposed to be done because they are using some device. So in this scenario, we will have to go with the trust factor here while we will ensure you cannot make that person stand up. So that is they're making notes.
Okay.
So maybe the view should be complete, but till what portion of the body? This is
that's what
very details and specification. We can always make notes and see at the most what are all precautions. What precautions we can always take. That's all. Otherwise, we will go with the spirit of Toastmasters that we trust.
Reena ma'am,
thank you so much.
We got only 49% voted. Can you just request members to vote?
The rest of them were only 49% were judges in this contest. The rest of them were all audience. So we are going to give you another 30 more seconds. Kindly vote for the winner so that we get. This is a panel of judges that we are having. So for the right judgment to come, the accurate judgment to come. So please vote. Please click on the link. The poll is on. Click on it and close. In another 10 seconds, close it, Loyalji. In another 10 seconds, close it, Loyalji.
I'll do that. Yes.
Thank you. So we will say 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Close. So now let us declare. So our CJ Lloyd is giving the results. The second place goes to Toastmaster Renuka Bharat. Let's give her a big round of applause. And the winner of the evaluation contest today is Toastmaster Arun Kumar, who will not proceed to any other level because it is a mock contest. Thank you. Congrats, Arun. Thank you so much, Arun, Anirudh, and Renuka. And also a special mention and thanks to Toastmaster Kavya for coordinating. Now, with that note, do we have any other queries? I think I'll take up one or two more queries, and that would be the end of the session today from my end. Looks like you are completely confused or you are enlightened to the core. What is this? Tell me and I forget. What is this? I may remember. Oh, that's not a chat. All right, friends. If you don't,
one question,
yes.
ma'am. So this is Arun, and if there is any internet issues and during my evaluation I get lost, so does it mean that I can get extra 30 seconds of grace time or something like that? I don't know if it was discussed earlier, but just a question about if there is a sudden disconnection and then I'm reconnecting back, how much would be the grace time?
During there's no grace time. See, the grace time stuff comes only when there is an error in your technical error in your timing device. Otherwise, that doesn't come there. But I remember, if I'm not mistaken, I recollect Toastmaster Rajiv saying that we will wait if there are technical glitches and this speech was going on and they stopped, or the speech was or the speaker went offline, they would try to contact the speaker and find out if the person can reconnect. So we'll wait only for that time. If the person cannot reconnect, then they may proceed with the next contestants.
So there's another question coming up from Harsha from Clema VAT.
One
Sorry,
minute,
sorry. I'm sorry. I thought you had completed.
Arun, have I answered the question?
Okay.
Okay. So Arun, you can also send this query. We will take a note of it and we'll try to write also. Yes, Sai.
Yeah, I'm sorry, DTM Rina. I thought you had completed.
No problem. Thank you.
Toastmaster Harsha from Clema VAT Club asks, what about the virtual background? Is it allowed or preferred for the evaluation contest? It's talking about Zoom virtual background or Microsoft Teams virtual background, which are used by some of the people.
I don't think there's any such. It could be preferred. It's not a problem. That will not be part of the judging criteria per se. We will go with the judging criteria. So if you are able to put the background, you go ahead. It doesn't give you any brownie points that you have a different background.
Right.
Reena, can I add here?
Who is this?
Rajiv.
Coach, sorry.
Yeah, no problem.
Please.
See, make sure that you use a background that does not steal the limelight of your speech.
That was our tiger roaring.
So make sure that you don't put a background where people forget about your speech and start looking at your background. Yeah, thank you, Reena.
Okay, thank you. All right, any other queries, Sai?
Yeah, I have one question. I am Venkat from Ericsson Toastmasters. So, is that speech title in when humorous speech we have a speech effectiveness, right? So, how speech title and speech is related? That can be rated in speech effectiveness.
You're talking about the speech
like
organization.
Anirudh gave
speech organization.
Yeah.
See,
yes.
In the humorous speech, you have a particular thing on the speech organization per se. So that is where the speech title has a vital role. When you are giving the speech structure, there is the title. Title has a vital role. Then the opening. Then you have the body of the speech and conclusion. So this aspect will be covered in the speech organization part of it. It normally we will ensure that it is a relevant speech, and it is the one which is like the preview. The title is the one which actually gives that suspense part of it. So normally we will ensure that the title has got some kind of a suspense, and the suspense is opened in the speech. So we normally tie the title to the opening body, or at least in the conclusion it would be. So if you watched Anirudh had spoken about meaningful purpose in the end also. It's an important
Yeah,
aspect
okay.
in the organization.
Looks like there is a lot of disturbance in the
Disturbance,
background.
yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so that would be the final question, unless we have time for one more. Else, I had a fantastic time. I really hope we are going to, this season, we are going to give a very fair and a successful contest with all of you learned people. And let's be fair and let's enjoy this journey. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, DTM Reena. My dear Toastmasters, I have shared the link for you to give your feedback for this session, this segment. Please take 30 seconds of your time and share your valuable feedback. DTM Reena, it was very insightful. You not only spoke about the process, you also addressed about the biases that we could all be getting into, which is very, very common for us. And it's just not about judging the contest, but it is also arriving at an informed decision even outside Toastmasters. That way it was really helpful. So on behalf of TLI, I take great pleasure in thanking DTM Rajiv Nambiar, who conducted the Chief Judge and Online Contest Management Training, and DTM Reena for conducting Judges Training Program. And it also helped us to practice what we learned by doing that mock contest evaluation and judging. I'm sure the learnings will get reinforced. And I also thank my fellow role players, Mahesh, the timer, Kavya, DTM Lloyd, and those who I may miss out, the role players who gave the mock speech and who did the mock evaluation. So with that note, I would like to thank all the participants for being wonderful in terms of your participation, asking questions. I'm sure that all the questions, we were not able to answer all the questions because of the time constraints. So please feel free to reach out to both DTM Rajiv Nambiar and DTM Reena. They'll be happy to respond to your questions. And not only that, please remember this ROI that you want to get out of Toastmasters can be enhanced by taking part in all the events that are being conducted by TLI. Because in my little years of experience, I can definitely see a connect between what we learn here and what we apply outside. With that note, I would like to once again thank each and every one of us for being part of this wonderful intervention. I wish you all the very best if you are taking part in the contest. I wish you all the very best if you are also going to play the role of a judge. With that note, I would like to draw a curtain for this training program on judges, chief justice, chief judge, not chief justice, because a lot of things have spoken about chief justice, chief judge, and the contest management training program. Thank you so much. Have a very great Sunday, rest of Sunday. Have a very great week ahead. Thank you so much. May the force be with you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Happy Sunday. Bye-bye.
So just ensure that we are sharing our feedback. Those who have not done, just take 30 seconds and complete your feedback. That will really be helpful for us.